Author and intimacy expert Laura M. Brotherson, host of the Marital Intimacy Show, educates and inspires women to create a mutually fulfilling, intimate, and passionate marital relationship, emotionally, spiritually, and sexually.
It's the win!
Brought to you by Trivani, TRIVANI.com.
Hi there. Welcome to the Marital Intimacy Show, available at themaritalintimacyshow.com. My name is Laura Brotherson. Thanks for tuning in today. Well, we get to talk about marriage and intimacy and such today, some of my favorite topics. The title of this episode, number 22, is Where Do I Start in Strengthening My Marriage Intimately? Q&A. So let's get started. So this episode was prompted by one of the many emails I've received, this one from a wife who just wanted to know how do I get involved with our strengthening marriage efforts, and she wanted to know how to start strengthening her marriage. I mean, where do I begin? So here's what she wrote. So I think I need your help. How do I go about being a part of your strengthening marriage efforts? What do I do? Or how do I become involved with what you're doing? And how do I be better with my husband? Thanks for your help. These are really great questions that apply to a lot of couples who are trying to decide where to begin, or a wife who's thinking, okay, maybe I need to think about our intimate relationship a little bit more. Where do I start? So there are a lot of things that this wife and women can do to address these questions. But in this episode, I'm going to start with 4, I'd say, main options or suggestions for this wife, and then add a few additional ones as well. So for any of you out there that would like to figure out, where do I start? What should I do? How can I strengthen my marriage intimately? I'm confident that as you begin to incorporate some of these suggestions, that each of you will begin to find your own way, the way that's right for you and that works for you. So let's start with these suggestions. Number 1, read the book. If you haven't already, be sure to read or listen to the CDs of our book, And They Were Not Ashamed, Strengthening Marriage Through Sexual Fulfillment. Each chapter addresses an important part of understanding the intimate relationship in marriage, and it also provides homework to help you apply and internalize what we're teaching here. I mean, this book was intended to be a self-help manual that can be used in the privacy of your own home. And it really is very thorough and comprehensive to address a lot of the issues that wives particularly might have, and couples as well, of course, but I'm just talking specifically to wives at this point. So read that, start there. There's kind of your basic manual, and then everything else kind of works around it or supports that as well. So number 2, so a simple thing is just be sure you're subscribed to our Straight Talk About Strengthening Marriage newsletters. I try to get them out every few months. Wish it was more often, but this is just a good way to get a recap of all the latest that is happening, with what we're trying to do in strengthening marriage efforts. But additional marriage strengthening suggestions are always provided. And we also have a newsletter archive so that you can go back and read any newsletters that you may have missed or whatever. So that's just a good way to just kind of stay in the know with what's going on, and there's always new and exciting things happening, and it just kind of keeps you updated with what's happening. All right, so number 1, we talked about make sure you read the book. Number 2, get subscribed to the newsletter. And number 3 is to listen to this weekly marital intimacy show. This is just a great new offering for busy people who want to learn how to strengthen their marriage while going about their daily lives. And, you can listen online anytime or download the weekly 10 to 15 minute episodes and listen on the go. I mean, that's a great way to go for a lot of people. So some of the episodes that we've had so far are things like Overcoming Obstacles of the Big O, Desire is a Decision, Jump-Starting Your Marriage, 6 tips to strengthen your marriage sexually, affair-proofing your marriage, secrets of sexually satisfied wives. I mean, there's all kinds of really helpful information that you can learn on the go. One particular topic that we've talked about in this show that would be particularly helpful for you and for this wife that wrote this letter is also the 6 tips to strengthen your marriage sexually. In addition to these other things to kind of keep you connected and to give you the basis of what you need to be doing is there are these 6 tips to help you to know what are the specific things I need to do to strengthen my marriage sexually. And so you can learn about making sex a priority, getting educated, learning to talk about sex more easily, overcoming inhibitors, becoming more playful. I mean, these are some of the other important things that you need to think about and learn about and start doing something about. Now, the 4th suggestion or option for where to get started is to, if you're on Facebook or if you're a Facebooker, to keep connected on Facebook. Facebook is just one of the easiest ways to stay easily connected, and so be sure to become a fan of both of our business pages, Strengthening Marriage, Inc. and the Marital Intimacy Show. That's just a really easy way to stay updated on the kind of day-to-day stuff and new things and little insights and just little bite-sized pieces to keep you thinking about your marriage and about your spouse and how you can make this a more wonderful part of your lives. So the 4 key things, again, read the book, And They Were Not Ashamed. Subscribe to the newsletter, listen to our weekly show, the Marital Intimacy Show, and if you're on Facebook, to, become a fan of our pages there. So those are the 4 key things that I think can kind of really cover most of your bases. Now, some of the additional suggestions, I've got 4 other little suggestions. Number 5 would be to follow a marriage blog. It's another great source of insights and inspiration for your marriage. And we post insights and ideas about all the various aspects of marriage and intimacy in smaller pieces than maybe a full article. And there's also great interactive discussions that occur there. And it's just been a really great source of strength and hope for a lot of people. So that's a place to really consider if that might be a good place to start for some people. All right, so that's number 5. And number 6, just visit our website regularly, strengtheningmarriage.com. Check out what's new. We've got a What's New page. Read the articles. There's so many articles there. So just some of the articles, titles are Men, Society, and Sex, Characteristics of a Healthy Sexual Relationship in Marriage, Love Letters, Take the Marriage Myths Quiz, and lots of other things like that. So check out the articles. You can also read other people's comments on our comments page. That's always fun and can provide a lot of hope and motivation for you on a kind of a regular basis. And check out the Straight Talk Q&A that is there online as well. That's basically a lot of people's questions that I've taken the time to write an answer for, and you can read a lot of those. And we're going to try to do that a little bit more on the show, where questions and concerns that people send in, I'll try to address some of those here, so that not just the one that gets the return email, but all of you, anyone, can benefit from as well. And one person wrote in and she said, I love it when you answer those kinds of questions on the show, because I feel like those are questions that I would have too, and maybe just was too shy to ask or just never got around to asking. Some of the Straight Talk Q&A topics or questions that we have so far, I'll just give you a little taste of them, but what percentage of women enjoy sex? We talk about expected sex, vacation sex, and birthday sex. How to prepare for the honeymoon and sexual relationship in marriage. What about a vibrator? What if I haven't had an orgasm after 24 years of marriage? What can I do if my wife isn't interested in improving our relationship? Or what if she won't read your book? So those are just some of the topics that you can find in our Straight Talk Q&A as well. So that can give a lot of insight and motivation and hope and direction for where do I start? Where do I go from here, and what do I need to do? Because as you read and learn and do these things that I'm suggesting, you're going to have your own insight, and you'll be like, oh yeah, that's an issue we've got. I need to work on that. Or, boy, I never thought of that way. I need to see if I can change something with that. So just, again, that's kind of why I said I'm confident that as you just make this a priority, the right information and the right resources are going to come in front of you. They'll come onto your path, and you'll be able to move forward and create the kind of intimate relationship that is possible for every couple. Okay, so just these last two options or suggestions, if for some people they may want to start with a counselor. I don't think that's the case for this woman that wrote the letter, but on the resource page on my website as well, there are many resources for finding a counselor, a counselor referral, places to look. So that's always something to keep in mind, because sometimes it can be really helpful and even easier sometimes to have somebody to walk you through applying what I teach and what is needed to strengthen a marriage intimately. Okay, so then the last thing, I think this woman is asking also about how do I be involved in I don't know, I sensed at least that she's asking about more than just her own marriage. Yes, she wants to work on her own relationship, but how can I be a part of what you're doing here? And so this last suggestion is just begin to be an influence for good in the marriages of those around you. What I really hope is that these efforts in strengthening marriages with couples will spread to other couples. We're working on ways that women in particular can be a positive influence with their friends, because I think girlfriends have a lot of power that husbands might not have sometimes. But in general, I just want to encourage all couples, anyone listening to this, to be an influence for good, to stand up for marriage, and to be encouraging of the intimate relationship. Sometimes just having someone to say, yeah, that's a great thing, or to just kind of stop the negative talk or the husband bashing that happens sometimes. That can make a real difference for people. And so those are just a couple other ideas to keep in mind. But I just want you to key into reading the book. Number 1, reading the book. Number 2, get connected so you're on our newsletter list. Number 3, listen to the Marital Intimacy Show every week if you can. And number 4, be connected on Facebook with our Strengthening Marriage and Marital Intimacy Show pages. Then there are lots of other good things that you can do too, but that just gives you a few simple things to start with that are probably the foundation issues for you. Well, there you have it. I hope you've gleaned some good ideas for where to start in strengthening your marriage intimately. And I hope you'll share this podcast with others who might also want to strengthen their marriages sexually. I welcome your thoughts at laura@strengtheningmarriage.com, or you can post your comments on the Marital Intimacy Show blog or the Marital Intimacy Show Facebook page. So this has been episode number 22, Where Do I Start in Strengthening My Marriage Intimately Q&A, on the Marital Intimacy Show with Laura and Brotherson. Thanks for tuning in today. We'll be back again soon with more great insights for strengthening your marriage intimately. And remember, you can always check in at our website, strengtheningmarriage.com, to learn more. Until next time, this is Laura Brotherson with the Marital Intimacy Show. Have a great day and make yours a great marriage.